Testa che avete, signor dicetrà. Vedete, così non è sempre, che nuove scoperte.
Rigoletto is a court jester who is physically deformed, a hunchback, an indication for audiences of the time that he must somehow be evil.
We have to put our mind in that period. Is early 19th century, is almost 200 years ago, and is not easy for anyone to write an opera like Rigoletto in that period. This is a revolution change of the structure of the opera.
Rigoletto is a heroic figure who is warped and poisoned by the world he lives in, and that world is exemplified by the handsome young Duke, who is utterly rotten to his soul.
La donna è nobile, qual più vale il vento, muta d'accento, vedi pensiero, sempre un'amabile, leggiadro viso, in pianto e nel riso, e menzognero. La donna è nobile, qual più vale il vento,
the music he sings may be attractive, light, careless, but that's because Verdi's painting a very good portrait of an utterly shallow man.
Verdi created one of his most catchy tunes for the Duke, and soon after the premiere, people were singing it in the streets. It's in complete contrast to the dark music he wrote for Rigoletto. Now, we meet Rigoletto in Act 1, a caustic fellow making fun of everybody, mocking everyone, but he goes one step too far. He mocks Monterone, whose daughter has been seduced by the Duke. And Monterone puts a curse on him. Now, curse in opera is a very, very important device, and this curse will stay with Rigoletto. He goes home very troubled. Now, the composers before him, Bellini, Donizetti, and Rossini, did write very declamatory recitatives, but not to the same degree of intensity that Verdi now brings this. He even introduces what later became called a leitmotif, an obsessional visiting card, musical visiting card. That old man cursed me. And we will hear this theme over and over again in the opera. Quel vecchio maledì. Just one note that bores into him.
Natura, vil scellerato, mi facesse boni. Rabbia essere difforme, rabbia essere buffone, non dover, non poter altro che ridere.
The recitative now has become an enormous expression of his humanity, of his foibles, of his worries, of his entire psychology. And this is what Verdi has brought forward now in the world of opera, a deeper complexity, a much more theatrical pouring out of emotions, of expressions that will touch the audience. Unknown to anyone else, the widower Rigoletto has a daughter who he has kept hidden from the court.
He's writing about a father-daughter relationship in depth, and this is, of course, going to become one of his obsessive obsessive themes in the later operas, and something in which he always depicted so successfully, because he always felt the loss of his own daughter.
And now the curse put on Rigoletto is played out. His beloved daughter is abducted and seduced by the Duke. Rigoletto, feeling betrayed, the orchestra again conjures up an energy. He's saying, you courtiers, you evil race, you accursed race.
Partigiani della razza dannata, qual prezzo vendeste il mio bene.
It's the moment where Rigoletto's mask finally drops, where he actually turns on the courtiers as an equal and really tells them what he thinks of them. He just lets rip. And Verdi does this through a pumping, muscular vocal line. The baritone is nearly shouting. You have to have a great deal of force to get through this number.
Opera is becoming something that now we recognize as being the most heightened expression of that which is in these, yes, deformed characters, these depraved characters, these flawed people, but they're characters that hold our interest. We want to know what is going to happen.